So the maid's son drags home a bleeding girl and randomly claims she is the future richest heiress, refusing to let anyone call an ambulance. Just as our main character, Fang Yuan, is about to argue, crazy system bullet comments start popping up in front of his eyes. The comments say the reborn male lead can finally start his sweet love, and if the villain hadn't forced her to the hospital, they wouldn't have missed each other.
Apparently, this girl Bai Ningbing is actually the richest tycoon's secret daughter and his only heir. In 3 days, her real billionaire family is going to take her back home.
Talk about major plot armor. This changes everything. In the previous timeline, this female lead actually destroyed the evil supporting character's entire family just to help her boyfriend get revenge. The bullet comments are literally screaming about how romantic this toxic relationship is, wanting them together forever. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan just looks at his arrogant maid son Gu Beichen and the dying girl bleeding out on his floor. He almost laughs out loud. An ungrateful guy who relies on his charity to study, and a girl whose legs are literally rotting. They definitely deserve each other. Reading the insane system comments, Fang Yuan coldly watches Gu Beichen drag the bleeding girl into his private mansion. Gu Beichen's mother works here as a maid, meaning he grew up under Fang Yuan's roof. Honestly, Fang Yuan's parents even treated him like their own adoptive son because they were too nice. But this ungrateful guy actually started acting like he owns the entire estate. The moment Fang Yuan steps forward, Gu Beichen immediately blocks the girl like a guard dog, warning Fang Yuan to stay away so she doesn't get the wrong idea when she wakes up. The comments go crazy, spamming that the reborn male lead is totally right, and they can't let the villain steal the credit like in the previous timeline. The chat actually claims that even if the male lead lives in the villain's luxury mansion and uses his family's money for school, he's a proud protagonist who would never bow down to mere wealth. Once the super rich female lead falls in love with him, he will be on top of the world. At that point, not only will he get his degree, but the villain's entire family inheritance will belong to him. Fans in the chat are literally celebrating, saying the evil supporting character won't stand a single chance this time around. Fang Yuan looks at Gu Beichen's extremely defensive, hostile glare, and he finally puts 2 and 2 together. Alright, so he's the designated evil villain of this story, while his maid's ungrateful son and this dying stranger are the blessed main couple destined to ruin his entire life. In the previous timeline, he saved her life by forcing her into a hospital, yet because of some stupid misunderstanding over who the real hero actually was, she ended up destroying his entire family. Talk about a completely brain-dead plot. Her legs are completely mangled, and leaving her here means she will literally become paralyzed or die. But if they both want to play dumb, he's fine with that. He decides to give them exactly what they want. He walks right up to Gu Beichen, asking if he even knows who this random woman is before bringing her inside. The comments laugh, saying the genius male lead shouldn't tell the jealous villain that Bai Ningbing is actually the richest tycoon's lost daughter who is going to inherit a massive business empire in just a few days. Fang Yuan just smiles and throws the heavy front door wide open. He demands to know why Gu Beichen is bringing an unidentified bloody stranger into his home when she could easily be a dangerous criminal on the run. He asks who will guarantee his own safety. Then he gives him an ultimatum. Either throw her out, leave with her, or he's calling the cops right now. Gu Beichen's jaw drops in pure shock, asking how Fang Yuan can be so heartless and cruel to kick out a severely injured person into the storm. Our MC sighs with mock helplessness. He points out that they're total strangers, so there's absolutely no reason to harbor a random woman when Gu Beichen refuses to take her to a hospital or even call the police. Fang Yuan tells Gu Beichen to make a choice. Gu Beichen opens his mouth to argue, but then swallows his words, glaring with pure resentment. He snaps that they are leaving, muttering about how wealthy people have absolutely zero empathy and only know how to throw money around, proving Fang Yuan is a heartless villain after all. The system comments are crying, asking how Fang Yuan can be so incredibly cruel to throw them out into a heavy downpour when her open wounds will easily get infected. Fang Yuan just shakes his head. With those severe injuries, if they don't go to an actual hospital, even the tycoon's ancestor couldn't save her from being paralyzed.
Gu Beichen carries Bai Ningbing out into the rain and hails a cab. Before slamming the door, he gives Fang Yuan one final dramatic glare, warning him that he's gonna deeply regret this decision. Regret? Please. There's absolutely nothing to regret. The very second Gu Beichen leaves, Fang Yuan pulls out his phone and immediately suspends all of the guy's credit cards.
The ungrateful guy has been leeching off his wealth for years while scheming behind his back, and the girl would have ruined his family despite him saving her legs in the past life. They truly deserve each other. Honestly, they're a match made in heaven. Fang Yuan decides to enjoy his evening by taking a hot bath and booking a premium home spa session, feeling so relaxed he's about to drift off to sleep. Suddenly, his peaceful night is ruined as his phone starts blowing up with endless calls. It's Gu Beichen, sounding absolutely panicked and on the verge of a total hysterical breakdown. He screams through the speaker, demanding to know why his cards are suddenly blocked, complaining that he got declined at a hotel front desk, and asking if Fang Yuan knows how embarrassing that was. The leech actually whines that treating him like a brother was just a lie to humiliate him with wealth. Fang Yuan has zero energy for this ridiculous drama and hangs up, but just minutes later, his parents call him. His dad's voice is deep and serious, asking if he bullied Gu Beichen, reminding him that he always claimed to love Gu Beichen like a real brother. They lecture him that kicking his brother out over a petty argument is a really bad habit, and they have already instructed Gu Beichen to head right back to the mansion so they can resolve their issues. Fang Yuan sits straight up in his bed, realizing he completely forgot about his soft-hearted parents. He can see the truth through the crazy bullet comments, but his parents are still completely blind to the danger. Trying to convince them that the boy they raised for over 20 years will eventually destroy their family won't be easy. Meanwhile, the chat mocks him, saying the brainless villain thinks he can actually stop the protagonist. They write that side characters are always destined to get crushed by the main lead, crying over how poor, sweet Gu Beichen is struggling out there in the heavy rain. Sure enough, half an hour later, a completely soaked Gu Beichen drags a shivering Bai Ningbing right back to the mansion. They stand shivering at the grand entrance, rain and dark blood pooling together on Fang Yuan's expensive, clean floor tiles. Shivering violently, Gu Beichen glares and demands to know why Fang Yuan is treating him so terribly. Fang Yuan holds back a cold sneer, casually telling the guy that he is not trying to bully him. He claims he was just deeply worried because Gu Beichen is way too innocent and could easily get scammed by a random stranger. He points out that they're just two weak guys, so safety comes first. Gu Beichen completely misses the obvious sarcasm, and his tense face finally relaxes a bit. Even the system chat gets totally fooled by Fang Yuan's act. The comments note that his excuse actually makes sense, saying not everyone is as kind-hearted as the protagonist, and of course the brainless villain is just being paranoid about everything. They write that even without knowing her rich identity, the villain is still obsessed with sending her to the hospital. Gu Beichen just stares at Fang Yuan with deep resentment. Gu Beichen begs Fang Yuan to help carry her upstairs. Fang Yuan looks at Bai Ningbing, his temples throbbing. Gu Beichen is almost 10. 15 centimeters shorter than her, he dragged her all over the asphalt, making her bloody wounds completely fester. Fang Yuan asks if they should go to the hospital, but Gu Beichen tells him to back off. Gu Beichen claims he will take care of her himself. Fine, whatever. Fang Yuan helps him drag Bai Ningbing up to the second floor, but our main character is incredibly petty. He cannot exactly reveal that Gu Beichen destroyed his family in their past life, right? So while Gu Beichen gasps for air on the handrail, Fang Yuan suddenly lets go. Gu Beichen screams at Fang Yuan as the girl tumbles down the stairs. Fang Yuan pretends to be absolutely terrified, covering his face and saying he is so sorry. He claims she was just too heavy. Gu Beichen drags her back up like a dead dog, completely exhausted. Honestly, our protagonist is built different for doing this on purpose. You can practically see the malicious intent in his eyes. Fang Yuan smirks, brushes off his hands, and returns to his room. Since they walked right into his trap, there is no way he is letting his revenge slip. Meanwhile, Gu Beichen guards Bai Ningbing constantly, even personally wrapping bandages around both of her legs. Fang Yuan literally watches him wrap muddy, rotting flesh right inside the gauze. This is crazy, but it fits the original plot perfectly. The female lead is supposed to wake up this afternoon and get rescued by her billionaire dad tomorrow, but the billionaire's wife is actually savage. To stop her from claiming her birthright, she sent hitmen to finish her off. Absolutely lawless. But once the female lead makes her epic comeback, they are all done for. Fang Yuan widens his eyes, realizing she was targeted by the billionaire's wife. No wonder her injuries are so severe. He decides to wait outside her room. After 2 days and 1 night with no sleep, Gu Beichen can barely keep his eyes open. The split second Bai Ningbing opens her eyes, Fang Yuan rushes in and grabs her hand shouting happily that she is finally awake and telling Beichen to get up. Gu Beichen jolts awake, suddenly fully alert. He immediately shoves Fang Yuan away, accusing him of trying to steal the credit. While smoothing back his hair, Fang Yuan secretly smiles.
He pretends to be hurt, asking how Gu Beichen could misunderstand him when he was just trying to help. Then he turns to Bai Ningbing.
He seriously introduces Gu Beichen, saying he is her savior, who personally bandaged her legs and stayed by her side without sleeping for 2 days. He even tells her how Gu Beichen refused to send her to the hospital out of concern. The viewers are left wondering what our petty villain is up to. Why is he suddenly being so helpful? Gu Beichen hesitates, then shoves Fang Yuan aside with a shy smile, saying it was no big deal. He claims he was just doing his duty. Bai Ningbing slowly nods, thanking him and asking if his name is Beichen. She promises to reward him when she fully recovers. Gu Beichen, who dressed up in a fancy suit just for this moment, is thrilled. He stands there in his suit, acting like an elite young master. Bai Ningbing tries to get out of bed, but immediately collapses to the floor. Gu Beichen panics when he sees the blood-soaked bandages. Bai Ningbing seems to realize something is horribly wrong and starts sweating. Dripping with cold sweat, she hurriedly unwraps the gauze. A sickening stench of rot fills the room, and there are actual maggots squirming inside. Bai Ningbing completely freezes. She asks if he was the one who treated her wounds, and Gu Beichen twirls his fingers, nodding proudly. He boasts that it was nothing, adding that he could never be cold-hearted like some people. He is so busy trying to drag Fang Yuan down that he completely misses her horrified expression. Fang Yuan smirks, adding that Gu Beichen dragged her through a heavy rainstorm for over an hour. He was so protective, he did not even use the medicine or disinfect her legs. But look at that pretty bow. Bai Ningbing's face goes totally pale. She looks down at the infected scrapes on her legs. "Thank you so much," she says, her voice dripping with absolute dread. "But please, can you take me to the hospital right now?" Gu Beichen nods like a happy puppy and immediately calls an ambulance. Once they arrive, the doctor takes one look at her leg and his face completely drops. He demands to know how long she has been injured. Gu Beichen proudly brags that it has been 2 days and 1 night. The doctor snaps, calling him completely reckless for waiting this long. The wound is literally full of maggots under that rotting flesh. This sheer lack of common sense is deadly. Prepare her for immediate surgery. There is an 80% chance she will lose her legs. Bai Ningbing turns whiter than the hospital sheets, grabbing the doctor in panic. She begs him, saying she is only 23 years old and cannot get amputated, crying that her legs do not even hurt that much. She offers him anything if he can just save them. The doctor glares at Gu Beichen and sighs, explaining that the window has passed. He promises to do his best as he pulls away. Bai Ningbing is left staring blankly in sheer terror. This is not how the novel went. The female lead was never supposed to get amputated. This is a wild plot twist, and even Gu Beichen stands there in complete disbelief. Tears well up in his eyes as he stammers that this makes no sense, asking the doctor if he is absolutely sure it is not a misdiagnosis. He insists her legs are fine and promises she does not need to worry because he will stay by her side no matter what. Fang Yuan secretly smiles. Does this guy seriously not see the burning hatred in her eyes? The surgery gets scheduled for that exact day. When they finally wheel her out of the operating room, the blanket over her lower half is completely flat. It is completely empty. Gu Beichen literally passes out on the floor from the shock. Without any villain interfering, they are doing worse than before. Both her legs are gone. She is completely paralyzed. No way she can carry on the family line or take over her family empire now. Fang Yuan fakes absolute panic, letting out a scream before landing a massive slap right across Gu Beichen's face, yelling at him to wake up. Gu Beichen is literally shaking with rage here, grabbing Fang Yuan and screaming if he did this on purpose, accusing him of ruining his life in both timelines. He yells that if Fang Yuan hadn't forced him to take Bai Ningbing to a hotel, she wouldn't have ended up amputated, claiming Fang Yuan just wants to keep him down forever. He tells him to forget it, because he is going to live a great life with Bai Ningbing, and the days of being humiliated by Fang Yuan's family money are officially over. Meanwhile, the live chat is going wild, with some fans crying that the male lead is so pitiable and the villain is evil, while others are realizing the villain actually did absolutely nothing.
They are pointing out that Gu Beichen is just completely brainless for keeping a severely injured girl in a hotel room instead of taking her straight to a hospital.
Fang Yuan puts on his best fake hurt face and asks him what he means by 2 lifetimes, wondering how he could even think such a crazy thing. He reminds him that he was the one who refused to take her to a doctor, acting like 20 years of brotherhood means nothing compared to a girl he met 2 days ago. Fang Yuan sighs that he is deeply disappointed in him and walks away, immediately calling his parents to snitch and completely ruin Gu Beichen's backup plan.
He heads home and plays the victim to his parents, making sure to cry a river right in front of the nanny, who also happens to be Gu Beichen's mother. The nanny looks super awkward and tries to defend her son, saying Beichen always saw him as a real brother and there must be some huge misunderstanding here. The parents hesitate, feeling kind of bad for her. But get this, the live chat starts floating across the screen again, and it is absolutely hilarious how blind these comments are.
The brainless fans are whining that the evil villain snitched first, sobbing about how their precious male lead cried his eyes out at the hospital and deserves all the sympathy. Since the chat keeps crying about swollen eyes, Fang Yuan gets up from his mom's lap, fake sobbing as he dials Gu Beichen's number for a quick video call.
Gu Beichen picks up instantly, sporting massive puffy eyes, and immediately starts screaming, asking how Fang Yuan dares to call after causing Bai Ningbing's amputation.
He rants about how Fang Yuan always looked down on him just because of his family's wealth, while Fang Yuan just acts totally innocent, turning the camera towards his parents and the nanny.
The nanny's eyes go wide in absolute horror, and she quickly cuts off her son's crazy rant, screaming at him to shut his mouth.
She screams at him to apologize to the young master right now, and hearing his mother's voice, Gu Beichen freezes as Fang Yuan slowly pans the camera. Gu Beichen literally jumps out of his seat in pure shock, covering his mouth and stammering, asking why his aunt and uncle are also on the call. The parents look away in cold disgust, with Fang Yuan's dad coldly saying that their dirty family money indeed is nothing special. He tells the nanny that their family is officially cutting off all of Gu Beichen's funding, so they do not make him feel wronged anymore, leaving the guy looking deathly pale. The nanny desperately tries to apologize, but it is too late, and once they go upstairs, Fang Yuan's mom takes things to a whole new level. She tells the butler to pack up all of Gu Beichen's luxury items and sell them to a pawn shop immediately, leaving Fang Yuan totally stunned by her ruthless style. She calmly says that while she liked him, there is zero reason to care about someone who treats her own son like garbage, and the dad strongly nods in agreement. The dad explains they only brought him back before to clear up any misunderstandings, but now that they see his true colors, they will never let their son be insulted like that. Hearing this warm support makes Fang Yuan pretty emotional, cementing his resolve to absolutely crush those 2 backstabbers who destroyed his family in the original timeline. Knowing how they ruined his family before, he immediately contacts the wife of the richest man in the city to leak the news about Bai Ningbing's amputation. After tipping her off, he goes to sleep to prep for the drama, and sure enough, the next morning, the live chat is already buzzing with excitement. The comments are hyping it up, shouting that the richest man is about to arrive, and honestly, this run is turning out way more satisfying than the original plot. Since the tycoon is about to discover his precious daughter has lost her legs, Fang Yuan rushes to the hospital, managing to slip in just before the billionaire arrives. Inside, Bai Ningbing has just woken up from the anesthesia and is absolutely losing her mind, screaming that she would never have been amputated if he hadn't blocked her from getting medical help. She calls him a complete idiot and hurls a cup right at his head, making Gu Beichen flinch with teary eyes, though he still tries to play the devoted savior. He pleads with her, saying he knows she is upset but promises to take care of her and stand by her side for the rest of their lives. He even brings up how hard he worked carrying her home to save her, but that only pisses her off more because his stupid rescue actually ruined her life. She screams, asking if he was trying to save her or just sabotage her, leaving Gu Beichen standing there in utter shock as tears stream down his face. He whimpers, asking how she could say something so cruel to him, while the chat gets all emotional, crying about how the official couple is falling apart. No shot, guys. She just lost both of her legs over a simple injury that could have healed in a few months, so of course she is going to be furious. Gu Beichen is totally lost, because in the previous timeline, saving her secured her spot as the heir, but now that she's crippled, she has zero interest in romance. Seeing enough of their pathetic lovers' quarrel from the doorway, Fang Yuan decides it is finally time to make his grand entrance.
He walks in with a gentle smile, pretending to apologize to Bai Ningbing and claiming he should have forced Gu Beichen to take her to the hospital instead of letting him throw a tantrum.
He sighs that Gu Beichen was simply too spoiled and threw a fit, which cools Bai Ningbing down a bit, though she still glares at her stupid savior with pure hatred.
Furious at being humiliated, Gu Beichen tries to take his anger out on Fang Yuan, running over to push him and accusing him of trying to steal his spotlight. He screams at Fang Yuan to get lost, claiming that Bai Ningbing belongs to him because he was the one who saved her life.
Fang Yuan just shrugs and calmly drops the bomb that his family is officially cutting off every single cent of Gu Beichen's allowance starting today. He also kindly reminds him that the upcoming $45,000 college tuition is due next week, though Gu Beichen just scoffs like he already has a backup plan.
The guy is so delusional, he genuinely believes Bai Ningbing is just having a temporary mood swing and will eventually love and thank him for the rest of her life. Let me tell you, she is the tycoon's daughter, and once we marry, you think I will care about your petty crumbs?
Our second lead just chuckles, catching a glimpse of a wealthy-looking man rushing toward the hospital room.
Well, let's see about that, our guy thinks, as the tycoon bursts inside, crying out for his daughter and blaming his toxic wife.
Watching from the door, our second lead sees the tycoon try to lift the blanket, but a pale, teary-eyed Bai Ningbing quickly stops him.
She asks with a trembling voice if he is taking her home, and he gently pats her shoulder.
He promises she will inherit the massive family business, prompting Gu Beichen to immediately brown-nose and introduce himself as her savior.
Gu Beichen brags about carrying her back, and the tycoon happily thanks him before telling Bai Ningbing it is time to go.
He reveals he wrote his other daughter completely out of the inheritance, making the on-screen viewers cheer for the easy win.
Honestly, the chat is low-key hyped at this point, thinking that once she gets the inheritance, the couple can live happily ever after. But while the family elders gather, Gu Beichen desperately signals her to stand up, but she just grips the blanket in pure terror.
Seeing her panic, our second lead cooks up a plan and tells the tycoon that she's still too weak to walk. He suggests using a wheelchair and asks the tycoon to wait in the car to avoid any unwanted media attention. Even the chat is suspicious, wondering what our guy is plotting because there is no shot he is actually being nice here.
While viewers scream at the male lead for being useless, the tycoon leaves and our guy goes to grab a wheelchair.
But before he can even bring it inside, Gu Beichen snatches it away and warns him to stay away from his woman. He glares fiercely before pushing the wheelchair into the room, thinking he is actually doing something.
Bai Ningbing hates him, but lets him carry her, carefully covering her legs with a blanket as he pushes her out like a king.
Our second lead just chuckles and silently follows them all the way to the tycoon's massive suburban estate, slipping inside with the crowd. The tycoon put together quite the lavish welcome party for Bai Ningbing's return. The entire family gathering falls dead silent the moment she is pushed into the main hall, with everyone staring to size up this new heir. The snobbish elders note she is just an illegitimate daughter, but they begrudgingly admit her finance degree makes her barely qualified to run things. While the tycoon beams with pride, he completely misses how tightly Bai Ningbing is gripping her blanket. Right then, the tycoon's wife and legitimate daughter walk in, exchanging a knowing glance with our second lead. They smirk at her covered legs, mockingly calling her a mistress's child, whose fancy degree was probably bought with dirty money. The insult hits hard, and Bai Ningbing turns incredibly pale. After all, being an illegitimate child is always a massive social stigma. The chat is feeling bad for her, but they remember she gets massive revenge later on in the original timeline. But our guy just sneers internally because whatever happened in her past life is completely irrelevant now. Gu Beichen cannot stand seeing his woman insulted, so he steps up to bark back at the legitimate daughter. He aggressively mocks her for being childless despite her legal status, causing the tycoon's fierce daughter to step right up to his face. Honestly, her wealthy, powerful aura is absolutely insane, and Gu Beichen immediately loses his confidence, unable to even look her in the eye. He still stammers that Bai Ningbing represents the true bloodline and will be the family's saving grace. The moment he finishes, she slaps him straight to the floor, dusting off her hands like he is absolute trash. She shares a quick, secret smile with our guy, while the tycoon explodes in rage at his own daughter. He yells at her for hitting Gu Beichen, threatening that she and her mother will not get a single cent. The tycoon's wife shields her daughter, snapping back that they do not need a reason to punish an insolent dog. She struts right up to Bai Ningbing with a sinister smile, mocking the idea of her being the family pillar.
The chat is screaming because this is the exact villainous woman who destroyed Bai Ningbing's legs in the first place.
Bai Ningbing's face is a mix of pure hatred and deep instinctual terror as the woman gets closer. She desperately argues that she has legal inheritance rights, but the wife just tilts her head and violently rips away her blanket. Everyone gasps in absolute horror to see that she's a high-level amputee. Even the tycoon takes a terrified step back.
This is wild! The chat is losing it, wondering how the wife knew, and if this completely ruins her inheritance.
As the crowd gossips, Bai Ningbing grips the armrests so hard, her knuckles turn completely white with shame.
Her face shifts from angry red to pale white, while the greedy family elders immediately change their minds.
They immediately yell at the tycoon for bringing a useless, disabled cripple, calling her disgusting and totally unfit to run a business. These cruel insults make her tear up in pure humiliation, while Gu Beichen stands there completely frozen by the sudden twist. Gu Beichen freezes in shock, then snatches the blanket back to cover Bai Ningbing, yelling out what right they even have to do this.
Why look down on disabled people? They can run a company just fine, and they are still way better than that arrogant girl, after all.
The real richest daughter just laughs instead of getting mad, calling him a fool and telling him to look closely because Bai Ningbing is basically a useless cripple. She cannot even protect her own legs, so what right does a nobody like you have to call everyone else a brat?
Honestly, the richest daughter actually makes a lot of sense here. Our male lead used to be this perfect, innocent god, so how did he end up like this?
Gu Beichen is completely stunned by her sharp words, but he's even more in denial about this harsh reality than Bai Ningbing herself. He starts screaming inside the mansion. He does not care because the will is already signed and Bai Ningbing is the heir. The wife just sneers. She rips the will to shreds right in front of her husband. Bai Ningbing's hands tremble in shock as she reaches out to grab him.
Dad, you promised me I would be the heir, she begs, crying that this evil woman ruined her legs just to stop her from inheriting.
She begs him to speak up, claiming her brain still works fine and she can easily run the family business. She blames the mother for everything. That is when our narrator, Fang Yuan, decides to step in with the facts.
Fang Yuan nods along, acting all supportive, and says he actually did some digging on Bai Ningbing's background. After high school, she attended a private college.
It was just a cheap, private, third-rate school. And then she spent $3 million going abroad just to get a fake degree in financial management. She says she will definitely lead the company forward, but hearing this, everyone immediately covers their mouths to hide their laughter. A cheap degree in financial management? The wife has had enough and tells the guards to throw Bai Ningbing out. She boasts that her own daughter graduated from a top university. Her daughter founded her own company at 20, took it public in just 3 years, and made the Forbes list. What does Bai Ningbing have to compare? She tells everyone that the choice of heir is obvious. While she secures her daughter's future inside, the two losers are left stranded at the door. Bai Ningbing and Gu Beichen are left standing outside like total fools. Gu Beichen keeps shaking his head, muttering that this was not supposed to happen. In his past life, Bai Ningbing was definitely the chosen heir. Refusing to accept this reality, he tries to rush back inside, only to get thrown out again. He screams to be let in, shouting that someone is sabotaging them because this is all wrong. The guards look at him like he is a complete lunatic and threaten to call the police. The guards mock them, saying a cripple dreaming of becoming the heir would not even be able to reach out to shake hands with other business owners. The guards laugh, pushing the devastated Bai Ningbing to finally scream that she has had enough. Gu Beichen kneels by her wheelchair with teary eyes. He begs her not to worry, saying they will find another way eventually. Bai Ningbing just bursts into a wild, manic laugh, tears streaming down her face. She violently shoves Gu Beichen away, screaming that he has no right to speak to her after wasting so much of her precious time. She rages that his foolish first aid is the exact reason her legs are ruined. She screams at him to get lost, shoving him hard onto the dirt and scraping his hands. Our narrator, Fang Yuan, just shakes his head at this complete mess. No way. These two need to stay locked together forever. He helps Gu Beichen up and tells her to calm down. He warns her that throwing a tantrum will not fix anything, but she ignores him. Seeing this, Gu Beichen just runs away, crying his eyes out. Talk about a toxic couple. Bai Ningbing is left sitting in her wheelchair looking completely helpless, and honestly, she is a total hot potato now.
She mumbles that she should just die since she is a useless cripple with absolutely no inheritance left. There is no point in living.
But wait, her karma is not even done yet, so she cannot die just yet. Fang Yuan warns her she is being way too impulsive when Gu Beichen is the only one left.
He told me multiple times that he loves her, so why chase him away? Bai Ningbing stares down at her empty, useless legs. Her eyes burn with hatred as she mutters that her legs are only gone because of him. Why should that idiot get to love her? Fang Yuan sighs and tells her that Gu Beichen is her only hope right now. She needs to put her anger aside because someone has to take care of her, right? That finally calms her anger down a bit. When Bai Ningbing worries that Gu Beichen is already left, Fang Yuan tells her he has a plan if she just cooperates.
Wait, why is our boy Fang Yuan playing matchmaker for the toxic main couple? This feels so chaotic, but I low-key love it.
Gu Beichen ran off, but his mom is still working as a maid at Fang Yuan's house. To keep this wild drama going, our boy decides he needs to give them a little push and help them get back together.
Once they get home, Fang Yuan's parents are completely shocked. Gu Beichen's mom is there too, looking totally gossipy as she stares at them. Fang Yuan smirks and pushes Bai Ningbing right in front of her, introducing her as Gu Beichen's girlfriend. The shocked mom instantly drops her cleaning rag in absolute disbelief at this sudden news. She stammered that she had never heard of her son having a girlfriend, asking if there was some kind of mistake.
Fang Yuan just smiles and tells her to call her son back to confirm it. Frustrated, the mom immediately heads to her room to call him. He follows her inside and whispers a quick tip, telling her that despite her wheelchair, Bai Ningbing is actually the daughter of the richest family. Hearing this, the mother's eyes instantly light up. She asks if it is true, and Fang Yuan gestures for her to keep quiet. He nods, promising her it is the real deal. He says if Gu Beichen marries her, he will be set for life and never have to worry about money again. Besides, even though Bai Ningbing is disabled, it just means Gu Beichen will easily be able to control her once they get married, right? The mom is completely sold, greed practically written all over her face. She immediately calls Gu Beichen, smiling widely as she tells him to get home right now. She scolds him for keeping such a huge secret from his own mother, telling him to stop pretending because she already knows everything. Bai Ningbing literally tracked him to his house, so he needs to get back fast. The second male lead turns around and immediately laughs. Seriously, this guy is devious as hell, lying straight to the male lead's mom. She might be the richest man's daughter, but her family has clearly abandoned her. Still, didn't the male lead literally regress just to be with the female lead? In their past life, they were super clingy, so they should share both the good and the bad. Honestly, that makes total sense. If they love each other, they have to suffer together. Half an hour later, Gu Beichen rushes back. His mom and Bai Ningbing are already chatting up a storm. The second he walks through the door, he just freezes. He stammers, asking Bai Ningbing why she suddenly came to his house. His mom pretends to be annoyed and drags him down to sit next to them. She tells him she knows everything. Bai Ningbing is a perfect match, and it does not even matter that she lost her legs. She says her flaws do not outshine her virtues, and young couples bicker all the time. Smiling, his mom shoves Gu Beichen's hand straight into Bai Ningbing's palm. She is beaming, looking extremely satisfied with her future daughter-in-law. Up on the balcony, our guy's parents wave to him, telling him to get upstairs. He shouldn't stay there acting like a third wheel. Once he gets upstairs, his parents immediately interrogate him about what is actually going on. They point out that Gu Beichen grew up around wealth with him, so why would he suddenly choose a disabled girl? Our guy shrugs and explains Bai Ningbing's real identity. It is a mutually toxic agreement, and both of them are perfectly fine with it. Plus, Gu Beichen thinks marrying her will secure his climb to the top. His parents just exchange a look and let out a heavy sigh. Wait, the female lead is actually lying to him now? She claims she called her billionaire dad to fix the inheritance, but that is a complete lie. She just wants to trap him into marriage, and he is brainless enough to believe her. Honestly, this might be the absolute dumbest male lead ever. No shot. The secondhand embarrassment is so real. When they head downstairs half an hour later, Gu Beichen is already holding hands with her, looking absolutely thrilled. They are moving insanely fast. They announce they are getting married right away. Bai Ningbing claims her dad promised never to neglect her, and she will make sure Gu Beichen lives in luxury.
She has a smile on her face, but her eyes are completely cold. This facade might fool his gullible mom, but it does not work on our guy's parents.
His dad frowns and asks if rushing this marriage is a bad idea, suggesting both families should meet up first, but his mom is already too happy.
She is so blinded by greed that she immediately shuts him down, saying a billionaire is far too busy to worry about such small things. She already handed Gu Beichen the household register so they can register their marriage themselves, telling them to hurry up before she changes her mind. Either way, the main couple is officially together now, but thinking back to their past life, things were totally different. Everyone remembers how genuinely happy she used to look. This time around, it feels incredibly off. Did she really forgive him, or is she just following the second male lead's plan? Honestly, she has no other options left. Our guy waves them off as they head out, totally unfazed. Whether she is using him or not does not matter. Our guy has plenty of ways to make them torture each other. Now that they are locked in, he can finally sit back and enjoy the show. Back at school, the advisor drops an announcement. Next week, the entire class is heading out for an outdoor sketching trip, and the school already booked the accommodations. They have two choices, a high-end 5-star luxury hotel or a budget-friendly chain hotel. Naturally, everyone is picking whatever fits their wallet. Only the absent Gu Beichen is lagging on his choice. The advisor asks our guy to pressure him, so he just tags him directly in the class group chat. He asks which hotel he is picking, and Gu Beichen replies instantly. He brags about selecting the 5-star option, claiming that staying in a budget chain would disgrace his new billionaire family.
Our guy just sends a simple okay back, then immediately leaks the news of Gu Beichen's elite marriage all over campus.
The whole school goes wild with envy. Everyone demands that he bring his billionaire heiress wife along to the trip. Hyped up like this, there is no way out for him. Our guy wondered if the clown would actually be honest about her being in a wheelchair, but on the day of the trip, Gu Beichen shows up with a completely different woman. She can walk perfectly fine, and our guy is literally holding back laughs. Bro, he hired a fake wife. Didn't he claim to love the female lead to death? Seriously? He is just too embarrassed to show her wheelchair. The truth is, he only loves her money. The clueless classmates immediately crowd around, asking if she is his wife.
They shower the fake couple with compliments. Gu Beichen eats up the attention while throwing death glares at our guy. The second they are alone, he corners him with a warning.
He threatens to end them if he ruins the family's reputation by exposing the truth. Our guy just acts terrified and nods along to his empty threats. The moment he turns around, he dials Bai Ningbing. Her voice on the phone is dead cold as she tells him to send the location immediately. Meanwhile, the class keeps chatting away. Everyone starts checking in. Gu Beichen tries to book a standard double room like the rest of us, but our guy jumps in to tease him in front of everyone. He loudly suggests that someone married to a billionaire should at least be booking the presidential suite. Naturally, the entire crowd starts chanting. They tell the receptionist to give the rich heiress their most expensive room so she can make some easy money. Plus, the daughter of a billionaire would never be stingy. Pressured by the rowdy crowd, the receptionist happily slides over their absolute most expensive room card with a big smile. She welcomes them to their finest Riverview suite, pricing it at $12,999 per night. For 3 nights? That is a hefty bill. The fake heiress immediately gasps, asking if the room is made of gold. Gu Beichen is absolutely mortified. Since they go to a wealthy academy, $12,999 is actually pocket change for most. Her cheap reaction instantly makes everyone freeze. Realizing the slip-up, Gu Beichen laughs nervously and stammers that it is actually very cheap. He glares at our guy and pulls out a credit card that actually belongs to our guy's parents.
So Gu Beichen's card declines, and the crowd immediately starts judging. The richest family's son-in-law can't even pay this? Bro, is he faking it?
Gu Beichen glares at Fang Yuan, fakes a laugh, and claims his card has a limit before squeezing out to make a quick call. As soon as he gets out, he spams her with angry texts. Are you crazy? That presidential suite is way too expensive. Why make me stay there? And unblock my credit card already. Fang Yuan just rolls her eyes. Didn't this guy literally say he didn't want her family's dirty money?
At this point, the bullet comments are going wild. They are saying this male lead is pure trash and the second male lead is way better.
They are literally dropping the story. Fang Yuan is loving the drama, but then she spots a wheelchair outside and rushes right over to Gu Beichen. He is currently trying to call Bai Ningbing for cash when Fang Yuan confronts him. He snaps, asking why she is there to humiliate him more.
He tells her to wipe that smug look off her face because she will beg him later. But she doesn't even care.
Instead of taking the bait, she loudly asks when he is going to stop. Didn't the richest wife and her daughter already give him tons of cash? Why is he still begging Bai Ningbing?
She warns him that karma is real. He already made Bai Ningbing lose her legs, so he better be careful not to play himself.
And boom, Bai Ningbing is right outside hearing everything. Gu Beichen just looks at Fang Yuan like she is insane and tells her to get lost.
He immediately dials Bai Ningbing, but right as he calls, a phone starts ringing right there inside the hotel lobby. Talk about perfect timing. Gu Beichen looks back and freezes. The wheelchair-bound girl is staring right at him from across the lobby, and his phone literally slips right out of his hand. Oh man, he actually played himself! Bai Ningbing was already mentally unstable after losing everything, and hearing this was the absolute final straw.
She instantly groups Gu Beichen with the evil rich wife. Gu Beichen panics and stammers, asking Bai Ningbing why she is here. He runs over to grab her wheelchair, but 2 bodyguards block him. Fun fact, Fang Yuan actually told her to hire those bodyguards. This girl is playing chess while he plays checkers. The bodyguards pull her back, and she glares at Gu Beichen with pure hatred. She asks him if that girl is his wife, then who is she? She laughs, asking how he has the nerve to cheat right after marriage and then call her to pay for his hotel room? Talk about shameless. The surrounding classmates are absolutely stunned. So that pretty girl wasn't his wife, but this disabled girl is? Bro, this guy is a walking red flag who is constantly lying. Asking his wife for cash to book a room with his mistress? The actress he hired immediately panics because she does not want that homewrecker label. She screams that she is not a mistress, claiming he told her his real wife was embarrassing and paid her to pretend. She swears they have absolutely nothing going on. She runs off, leaving him stranded. The lobby is packed, and now literally everyone is staring at Gu Beichen, totally enjoying the free show. His face turns completely red from embarrassment. Meanwhile, Bai Ningbing looks incredibly dark and tells him to get back right now. Okay, this deviates completely from the original plot, but honestly, it is so much more exciting. The crowd is loving the drama, wondering where she is taking him. While everyone is gossiping, Fang Yuan is glued to the bullet comments. Turns out they are in a pitch-black forest, and Bai Ningbing is beating him up. The comments are getting wild. Gu Beichen tries to fight back, but those 2 bodyguards easily fold him. Bai Ningbing truly believes he was hired by the rich wife to destroy her entire life. Bullet comments say she even pulled out a knife. Fang Yuan is dying to watch, but she can only read the text updates. Fang Yuan wishes she could watch the live video instead of just reading text updates. Over the next 3 days, Gu Beichen skips school completely, and nobody can contact him. Rumors spread everywhere about how he married a disabled girl for status and then hired an actress to pretend to be his wife. Fang Yuan just minds her business and goes to class until a week later when his mother calls her in tears. She begs Fang Yuan for help since she has not heard from her son in 7 days. Fang Yuan immediately checks the bullet comments to see what is going on. Viewers are roasting the mom for waiting a whole week to worry. Meanwhile, they reveal he is barely alive and breathing his last. He is locked in Bai Ningbing's old rundown apartment, and any later means he is dead. Knowing this, Fang Yuan keeps her cool and calmly tells the mom to call the police. The police rush over and find Gu Beichen in a storage closet, completely beaten to a pulp. His mom faints right on the spot. The police arrest her and take her back to the station. They ask why she did this to her own husband, but her eyes are completely bloodshot. She looks absolutely insane, screaming that he ruined her first and she is only giving him a taste of his own medicine. He made her lose her legs, after all. He stole her future and her inheritance. When the police mention she wants to see Fang Yuan, our girl's a bit surprised, but goes to see her anyway. Bai Ningbing sits there in prison garb, staring blankly, and asks if they have some kind of history. But the bullet comments answer first. Oh, absolutely. This is a deep blood feud. In her past life, she actually ruined the second male lead's entire family. Bai Ningbing glares, saying Fang Yuan was the one who pushed her to marry him. You called me about his cheating and said he blocked my medical treatment.
Why did you do this to me, Fang Yuan? Why ruin my life?
Fang Yuan just grins. Well, no grudge in this life yet, but she knows she had to act to avoid her past life tragic fate.
To put her out of her misery, she decides to share a little secret. Bai Ningbing's eyes flicker, waiting to hear it. She confesses she actually teamed up with the richest wife. Taking Bai Ningbing down secured 3 massive business deals for her family. And Gu Beichen, he actually wanted to save her, but he was just too incredibly dumb. Bai Ningbing is left completely speechless. That trash villain finally shows some emotion, but besides screaming curses, he is completely powerless. Our boy just smirks and walks away, feeling incredibly refreshed. Karma hits fast. Gu Beichen does not survive either, and the shock sends his mother straight to the hospital with a massive brain hemorrhage. His parents cover all her medical bills, telling the doctors to save her. She survives, but she is left completely paralyzed. Out of pity, they pay for her long-term stay so she can live out her days. Leaving the hospital, his mom feels pretty bittersweet. Talk about a crazy twist of fate. Our main character's family is too wholesome, especially since the original leads tried to destroy them before. Back then, the original male lead's mother did not hesitate. She actually wanted them dead just to take over their house. He just watches quietly. But hey, at least all the toxic villains are gone. After sending his parents home, he heads back to school.
Gu Beichen's sudden death makes him the biggest cautionary tale on campus. The school even sets up a special seminar just to teach students how to avoid toxic relationships.
Our boy gets so sick of hearing about it that he sneaks out and hops into a luxury car owned by the richest heiress in town. She offers to be his personal driver. Ever since he saved her once, they accidentally became best friends. He tells her to take him to his office. He is managing a huge new project and is incredibly busy, but she just steps on the gas. No work for him today.
Now that the toxic couple is gone, even the comments are finally peaceful.
Honestly, I thought we would get a sweet romance, but the second lead just choosing himself hits different. What do you mean second lead? He is literally the main character now. And that is a wrap on this absolute masterpiece.